Had to cut my way up out them trenches just to be specific. I had to get it how I live, now I just live to get it. Making history with them clippers cause it was written. Blessing essences with my presence because I'm gifted. Cut my way out. I had to cut my way out. Let's talk about it, hey, let me tell you how I cut my way out. Watch me cut my way out. It's the coldest podcast in the game.
What's happening, my good people? And it's Hawk The Barber with the iCutMyWayOut podcast. Man, we about to get it cracking on here, man. Very, very special guest, man. So Big Mike Smoke, man. We getting ready to get it cracking in here. Get ready to get my boy Shy on. We have Hawk The Barber this evening, man. I see you, Hawk. So I'm about to bring on co-host, and then I'm gonna shoot the invite to you. So let's get it cracking. So give me just 1 second. How's everybody doing, man? Excited, man. This has been a long time coming, man. Been persistent, man. This is by far one of my favorite barbers, and I'm saying that as a barber, humbly as a barber, man. So I'm extremely excited, man. Been following Hawk for a number of years, man, and now firsthand, man, we're about to find out firsthand and learn more about Hawk and as a barber and just as an everyday human being, man. So Shy's on, man. We're about to get him on here. Let's get ready to go. Where you at, Shy? Come on. Here we go. What's going on? View request. Go live. Come on. Where you at, Shy? All right. So we got Shy. What's going on, my brother?
Man, oh man, learning, man.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So we got Hawk. He's in the wait, man. So we're about to get him on here and get it cracking.
All
right. Anything you want to discuss before we get him on?
No, we jump right into it. I'm just a heads up. If you see me look down, it's because I'm going through the little thing we talked about earlier, just to see how it works. So yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Cool. All right, I'm gay. Invite Hawk so we can get it cracking on here. Man, this is actually, man, this has been a long time coming, man. I've been following Hawk for a number of years, man. What's going on, my brother?
What's up, fellas?
All right.
What's up?
How you feel, man?
Man, blessed and highly favored, man. How y'all feeling?
Man, I can't complain at all, man.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Not even a little bit.
Hey, it don't do no good. It don't do
For
no
real.
good at all, man.
Yes, sir. Man, before we get into this, man, I just want to start by giving you your flowers, man. I've been following you for a mighty long time. I met you at Trade Expo in Chicago. I've been barbering for a number of years, but at the same time, I was doing it part-time. And you were one of the influences from afar that made me believe that this was something that I could push everything else to the side and I could do this full-time and take care of my family, man. So I want to give you your flowers, and I want to tell you how much I appreciate you and how much of an inspiration you are. Sometimes we never know how we inspire others, man. So I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you first and foremost.
Man, I appreciate that, brother. Like I said, it's always an honor And just a humbling, thing for me, just for me to be able to inspire anybody, no matter the age, young, same age or older.
Right.
It's always something humbling to know that anything that I'm doing is inspiring anybody. So like I said, I definitely appreciate it. I definitely appreciate the roles. I definitely appreciate y'all even having me on today.
Absolutely, man. We appreciate you joining us, man.
Yes, sir.
So man, let's get this thing kicked off, man. Let give us a short bio about who Josh Hawkins is.
Well, I'm originally from Cincinnati, Ohio. I've been here in Atlanta since probably like 2009. And I used to visit my mom's back and forth all the time. Me and my brother did. And I started cutting hair when I was probably 12 years old. That's what most barbers, first picking up their clippers, experience at 12. And, my pops, he was a military guy. So, he was doing his best with me and my brother, but gave me the opportunity to start cutting hair, off of the haircuts he was giving to me. And I was just like, hey, man, like, let me figure this out on my own, man. Either I can go to the barbershop or, I can do this myself. So, I was picking them up myself. I was an artist before that. I used to draw a lot of time. So it kind of went hand in hand. Okay. And I think when I was 16, I got a chance to come down and visit my mom's. And I got into my first barbershop. Didn't have no license at the time. The guy who got me into his shop, he allowed me to cut in his shop over the summer. That summer, I was probably making $600-700 a week. So seeing that at 16, of course, I was glued to it. I was just like, this is it. But my father, he wanted me to come back to Cincinnati so I could graduate there. And if I chose to go to barber school, I could either do it in Cincinnati or go to Atlanta. But me experiencing what I experienced in Atlanta, that was everything I needed to see. So, I came back to Cincinnati. I graduated. The day after I graduated, I was back down to Atlanta. I didn't waste no time. I was just like, but the crazy part is, I actually, when I went back home, when I was telling everybody I was going to be a barber, a lot of folks was just like, why are you trying to be a barber? You can go to school for anything else. It's like you trying to do the bailout. Like, you don't really want to go to school for something serious. And honestly, they just didn't see what I seen, and I remember praying on it at a young age, just about like, what was it that I was supposed to do? Because I was being told to do a lot of different other things. And I grew up in church. Obviously, I knew that's how I would get my answer, obviously praying about it. And 2 weeks after I prayed about it, God revealed it to me that barbering was it for me. So, yeah, man, sitting down, praying and, telling God everything I wanted with it, everything I wanted to do, being a celebrity barber, being able to win barber competitions, have my own shop, have products, being able to travel the world. He gave all of that to me and more. So, my journey has definitely been a blessing. When I did come down here to Atlanta, went straight into barber school, and man, I ain't looked back ever since.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So I got a question. Just following you. I know you was a hooper as well in high school, right?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
At what point did you put that aside and stop chasing the dream of hooping and just say, let me do this barbering thing?
Man, the crazy part is, so when I was in high school, I played varsity all through high school. And when I went back for my senior year, I didn't even hoop. I was just like, I'm being a barber. So you got to think too, for family members, coaches, they like, yo, what you talking about, man? Like, you ain't gonna play your last year. And I'm just like, nah, you gotta focus so I can get up out of here. Wow. And sure enough, I didn't even play my senior year.
Wow. Hey, that's a huge sacrifice.
Yeah.
Right. I do got a couple questions, man. First off, thank you again for joining us, man. You don't understand how this was like that Steph Curry half court in the middle of the playoffs, pull up, big goal. Oh my God, if it don't, we didn't expect it to anyway type. So, in the most humblest way, we appreciate you so much for spending your time with us, bro. But I was listening to what you were saying, and it sounds your story sounds so familiar to so many barbers within this industry that I can't, hear it and not address it and not bring it up. I definitely want to ask you from that story, how was that for you? Be it that you had, it sounds like a support system around you in regards to the well-being of your life. But once you found something that you had discovered a passion in, or that you had at least a desire, right, to pursue, the support system around you couldn't necessarily see what you saw in it. And they didn't, you know what I mean? I don't want to say they didn't support it, but they more or less questioned your choice in going in that route. How was that for you?
For me at the time, obviously me being at a young age, and I'm gonna just be all the way transparent, at a young age, it was a little bit confusing because it was just like, when God is placing something on you and on your spirit for you to see something, for you to see your path and see the direction that he wants you to go, majority of the times, everybody is not going to see that same thing.
Right.
So for you to be at a young age, for myself, trying to explain that and trying to get other people to see that, a lot of times, most people will just put their fears on you in the sense of them not stepping out on what they were supposed to do, or them doing something in the sense of saying, okay, well, we don't see that making money, so why would you go over there and do that? And most people are money driven. If it has money to it, then okay, that's what you need to do. But if there's no money attached to it, then that might not be the thing to do. And I always tell anybody, my clients, barbers, stylists, it don't matter, that when somebody is trying to find their passion or their purpose in life, you need to be chasing something that gives you like that feel of you could wake up and do it every day for free, even if you didn't have no money attached to it. So with me cutting hair, that's what I felt. And I felt that at an early age. So granted, even with people talking to me, I had recruiters coming to talk to me about being in the Air Force. I had my mother was like, yo, you can go to dental school, you can do something else besides, being a barber.
Right.
And I think especially since after I had prayed on it and he had revealed it to me more that that's what I was supposed to do, it wasn't nothing nobody could really tell me. And even to this day, I'm still the same way. It's even stronger at this point. If the relationship that I got with Christ, if he's sharing something with me at that particular time and I know he gave that to me, ain't nothing that, nobody could tell me against that.
I love that, man.
Right.
I love that so much, man, because that, again, the last 4 barbers we've had on all have shared that same passion for allowing space for Christ to exist in their life. I think in a lot of cases, especially within the barbering community, we get so ahead of ourselves with our success or our depiction of success that we stop. We forget often to stop and give thanks to, who gave us the ability to not only be successful, but who gave us the ability to absorb, see, recognize, be a part of, be aligned with everything that come with it. It came through Christ. So I think that's dope that you had that perspective. Another question before, I know I got a bunch of questions, but another one based off what you just saying from kind of your general overview of your life. You said specifically celebrity barber. Now that is, I'm sure one of the biggest trigger phrases in barbering as we know it today, right? So I'm dying to know from somebody who has a very, very established, I would say top shelf clientele. I'm dying to know what exactly is your definition of a celebrity barber and why specifically those terminologies to define it.
I would say and I try to use that word lightly with, celebrity barber. But at that time when I was, 17, 18 years old, me chasing being a celebrity barber was, obviously being the well-known barber that was pretty much obviously cutting celebs, but at the same time, if it was winning barber battles, if it was being known for the things that I was doing in the industry, having a successful shop, obviously having product lines and stuff like that. So that's what I kind of pictured in my head what a celebrity is. I mean, if you look at any celebrity in any other industry, this is a person who's stacking up accolades just throughout their career with different things that they're accomplishing. So that's how I always looked at it. And obviously we could see over the years, it became one of those things where being a celebrity barber was measured on who you were cutting, in the sense of what celebrity was attached to who you was cutting.
Right.
And I think it became one of those things where a lot of people started chasing, I want to be a celebrity barber due to what high name that I can cut, you know. And when I started hearing that a lot in the industry, especially with me educating all the time, I would always tell barbers, like, at the end of the day, your everyday people that you cut is your celebrity, you know. And you know, past, you know, you cutting somebody with a high name, I mean, honestly, we all the same. We're no different from each other. You know, we might have different jobs and different titles of what we do, but at the end of the day, we all still the same, you know. So, you know, just trying to establish that, and, you know, in the minds of barbers, like, at the end of the day, your people that's coming to see you every day, those are your celebs, you know, because they helping making sure that them bills being paid. They helping making sure that rent being paid, you got food on your table and stuff like that. So them celebs that supposedly you might, you know, be looking to cut to think, you know, that's what's making you a celebrity barber, they come a dime a dozen. You get what I'm saying? Like, you know, you cut them, they'll be gone in the next week. You know, they trying to find the next best thing. So, you know, I always say, look at them as a bonus check. You know, it ain't always there, but, you know, when it come, it's cool. But yeah, it ain't nothing to lock into.
That's what's up.
I think a whole lot of people they associated at least, let me speak for myself. I'm not gonna say a whole lot of people. I'm gonna speak for myself. I hate to generalize things like that, but it's a bad habit that I picked up somewhere along my life, man. So I'm gonna say, I'm gonna speak for myself. For me personally, I associated that phrase celebrity barber. When I first got into barbering, I associated it the same way you did. Okay, if you cut somebody of you know, big recognition, then you're cutting a celebrity, right? Very rudimentary, 1 and 1 equal 2. The longer I stayed in barbering, the more I cut barbering, and the more I started to realize exactly what you just said in regards to every person that's sitting in my chair is my celebrity. Those are my celebrities. Right. The people who had the biggest influence in my neighborhood and in my community, those are my celebrities. The pastors that come in here, the police officers that come in here, the fire department, the teachers, the single parents, those are my celebrities, right? The more and more I started to see that, I think what we starting to see in this industry, and I'm asking both of you gentlemen if you understand what I'm saying or agree or disagree. I think what we're seeing in this industry is people are associating that term celebrity barber with the lifestyle that comes with the celebrities that they're cutting, not necessarily who they're cutting, right? They're building, this a phrase I say all the time, I hear it a lot too. They're building their houses on rented land, right? The person that they're cutting has built up this network of self. And because the barber has associated themselves with that, they believe that they have the privilege to, you know, be called a celebrity barber or be called a celebrity themselves in some cases. And I think they kind of, it's changed so much, man, because so many people in the barbering industry, it's a microwave industry now. People coming out of school and they right at the top. Whereas, like you said, through your journey, you had to go cut in the shop, see what $600-700 feel like, and at a young age, that's a buku of money. You know what I mean? That's enough to go and get whatever I want for me. I ain't got no bills or major responsibilities. So that's great bread. So that fuels your passion. You go back, you start laying down your bones, get more and more into it. Then you attract the clientele that you didn't know that you ever wanted or that you could have. Now you start to build on that. To me, you build up your framework and then you put a house on it. Whereas now the industry has turned into people get a very, very simplistic understanding or overview, I would say, of barbering and what it is. And they more so pay attention to the perception of barbering. Jump into the industry, and then there's more people calling themselves celebrity barbers now than that. It'll blow your mind. It will blow your mind. I'm grateful you answered that question because I want to use that clip and play it as many times as possible, because it's one thing hearing it from somebody like me who just little town Murfreesboro barber. It's something totally different hearing it from somebody who's walking and living that real barber, celebrity barber, upper echelon barber lifestyle. It's it hit different. That's what dude from the Vlad videos be saying. It hit different. So I appreciate that take on it, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I have a question. So and it kind of ties in. So a lot of people may look at you know, barbers such as yourself and just barbers throughout the industry that have A-list clients and so on, and educators, and have relationships with barber companies, and they see things as fly by night, right? Talk about just your early years of barbering before you came the Hawk that we know, through social media and things like that. Just your journey in short, just getting to where you were. How was that for Hawk?
Well, like I said, when I moved down to Atlanta,
Mhm.
I got straight into barber school. I had a little difficulties trying to get into barber school, but it worked out.
Okay.
And when I got into barber school, obviously I was coming straight from Cincinnati, so granted I knew I could cut some hair, but it still wasn't like, okay, like I'm the nicest at doing this, or I'm just that skillful. But when I got into barber school, the word started getting around about me real fast that, like, that young cat from Cincinnati, he can cut some hair.
Okay.
So at this time, I think our school was charging like $8 for haircuts, and the people that was coming in to get haircuts, once they started finding out about me, I would get a long line at the school to be
Mhm.
trying to come in and get a haircut just for me. And obviously the instructor's like, hey, we gotta spread these haircuts out, but they just like, nah. I mean, he cutting better than our regular barber at the shop.
Right.
We don't care how much he charges. We got to pay this dude. So
Right.
at school, I mean, I was getting paid 25, 30, $35 at school, and this is back in 2009.
Wow.
And that's on top of them paying the school. So once I got started with that, and I started to see my name was getting around like that, I had the opportunity to, when I graduated out of school, one of the instructors put me on to one of my mentors. He's no longer with us, but one of my mentors who showed me the ropes. He wasn't a barber, but he knew the barbering game. Like, I mean, he knew business, and I was able to get attached with him and become, like, the guy who managed shops, opened up shops from the beginning, and seen it all the way through until it got busy. So, being a part of that, I tell barbers too, like, when I was in school, my mindset and just how I thought was, I'm doing everything that I need to do while I'm in school. Granted, I knew what it looked like to be inside of a shop. I could have graduated in 12 months. I did it in 9 months. I was going from 9 in the morning to 9 o'clock at night because, once again, I knew what it was going to take, for me to get into a
Right.
shop. And by me doing that, it was one of those things where, in my mind, you couldn't have told me I wasn't ready to have my own
Right.
shop. But little did I know, obviously, it was so much more that I didn't know about having your own shop, managing the shop. So I'm very grateful, and I thank God for him, giving me somebody like him in my life at that time to show me the ropes and show me what it took to manage a shop, to run a shop, and the things that went into it. So that was a blessing. And then as time went on, just to speed it up just a little bit, I was starting to get into, like, barber battles. For me, going into barber battles was just like, okay, this is something that I also said I wanted to do. I'm hearing that people say I got the skills. I like doing freestyle design, stuff like that. So I was just like, okay, it's time to start getting into barber battles. And my very first one I did was, like, I think in Gainesville, Georgia.
Okay.
I ended up taking that one home first place. I ended up doing another one, took that one home first place. And after that, it just kept going and going and going.
Mhm.
And I remember, and I shared this just in Vegas this past couple weeks. I did a barber battle in 2015 that was for the Blurry Face Expo, Best Barber in America.
Mhm.
And that particular competition, I was honestly just going to that show to just network, shake hands, say what's up, keep myself in the loop. I didn't
Right.
have competing on my mind. And the same week that I was going to go down, I already had my flight book and hotel book. But the same week that I was going to go down to the show, um, two different times, I had a client come in, and it was just on my spirit to ask. And I was just like, yo, have you ever been to Miami? I'm about to go down there, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and do the competition. And both of them said no. I paid for their flight, I paid for their hotel, paid their way inside, obviously, to get inside the competition. And when I went down there, man, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, just being very transparent, I spent a lot of money. I spent a lot of money. it took a lot of stepping out on faith, because me going down there knowing that I just spent that type of cash, as any barber that can probably relate, in our mind, we be thinking, okay, well, I spent this money, but at least I know when I come home, I know I can get right back to it. That's just the mindset that we've been taught to think. Like, well, if I spend it now, at least I know it's guaranteed when I come back. But, still going down there, like I said, didn't have no money to spend on nothing. It was just go down there for what you said you was going to do. And I ended up winning both categories, old school haircut, and then I think it was for, best barber in America. And at that time, like I said, granted, I wasn't going there for that. So I ended up getting all my money back. I ended up obviously seeing that Babyliss had sponsored that event. So that's what gave me the opportunity for that door to open for me to be an educator for them. And yeah, man, it just sprung off from there. Yeah.
Wow. That's what's up.
That's lit.
So,
yeah, man.
As we watch you, right, you're a man of God. You're a family man. You're a motivational speaker. I look at it like that. You're a father, man. You have a lot of titles. One thing I like about you, and is inspiring, is that you're transparent. So with your faith in God, with me following you for years, I've watched not only some high points, but I've watched obstacles that also caused you to pivot and do something different. I'm gonna use a couple examples. The first one was during the pandemic. Everything came to a halt. I was actually on my way to Atlanta. I had booked with you. I was going to see Trae Young and CP3. He was still with the Thunder. Getting ready to see him face off. Okay. My wife has advised me, got floor seats. I booked my appointment with you, and everything closed down. I'm like, God, dog. Wow. I'm ready to get. I was more excited about the cut than I was being on the floor, right?
Yeah.
Once everything shut down, everything stopped for a while. I watched how Furious Styles, the location you were at, it ended up closing. Then you turn around, you came live, talked about taking a step back from barbering, for a minute, pivoting with that. Then turn around and your account, you had 1 to 2 million followers, and your account was hacked.
Nah,
and
I think it was like 200,000. I ain't had that.
No, you didn't have that many?
No, I ain't had that many.
Really?
I appreciate it.
Okay.
I ain't had that many. But it might have seemed like it, but I ain't had that many.
You had a
lot of people on here like, man, Hawk ain't had no 2 million followers, man. Stop it, man.
You had a lot of followers. It was more than the average. I know it was a lot to take
it was up there, yeah.
And I could see kind of the disposition when you was talking. I could tell it was a hit that you took. You know what I'm saying? But to pivot, put your faith in God and come back seemingly stronger. Talk about that, man.
Well, honestly, man, it was one of those things where, for me, before the pandemic hit, like, I remember telling my wife, man, just like feeling like, man, when do I ever catch a break? And it was just one of those things where anybody that like truly knows me, that have been around me, they probably always heard me say, like, man, like, I really can't stand Instagram. Don't really like, having to keep up with all the Instagram stuff, and just to see where Instagram was going and where social media was going. Right. So it was one of those things where I was just like, it would be times, I'm gonna just be honest, because I'm just very transparent, but it would be times where I would just be like literally wanting to delete my account. So for that to happen the way that it did, surprisingly, when it did happen, I mean, I literally had made a statement. I think it was about Georgia opening up too fast or something like that. And I made like a big post on there, and I seen it getting a lot of engagement the night before. Now, I didn't think nothing of it. I'm just thinking, once again, I make a post and, it does good and the engagement be good. And literally that next morning, man, my page was gone. You know, so I'm thinking, you know, like, man, I know I ain't, you know, moving stuff like that where they thinking, you know, what I'm talking about is, you know, shifting Atlanta, you know, them thinking that, you know, what I say goes. So, you know, they, like I said, I got my page hacked. And when they got hacked, honestly, I felt to myself was like, this is what I was asking for. So I never fought to get my page back. Honestly, if it probably wasn't for my wife and for Babyliss, I probably wouldn't even have a page today. Because once again, I was done with it. I'm like, cool, this, you know, I was kind of asking for this, and now I don't even have to deal with it. So now me creating another page, you know, and this was something that I did that I didn't do before. But if I knew I had to create another page and get back on social media, I actually prayed on it before I created my page. And I asked God to have his way through my social media, you know, and I didn't care how many followers I got, you know, what type of engagements I got, whatever I posted or whatever I was pushing. Once again, I just wanted it to have substance behind it. And obviously I wanted it to be led by God. So, you know, when I did get back on it, it was just like, okay, he did it once. I know he'll do it again, but now it's more so for his glory than mine. You know, and that even takes it back to when I said I want to be a barber, and he showed me that I want to be a barber. I went to praying and asking God for all of these things that I want to accomplish for self, you know, and when he gave me all of these things throughout my 20s, you know, when I finally did receive all of that stuff, I felt empty. You know, it was a grateful that it happened, but it was an empty feel. And that empty feel was God pretty much just telling me, now you see all the things that you asked for, how small they were compared to what I could really do. And he was just like, if you're ready to follow me now and follow what I got for you, I'll show you the things that you asked for ain't nowhere compared near to what I could do for you. So that's where it got me where I'm at today.
Oh yeah, big. Yeah, I wish we had some sound drops, because that's you gotta drop the that's real, because that's a word, man. No door can compare to the hall that God has already prepared for you.
Absolutely.
No door can compare to it. I do want to ask you though, man. You kind of summed it up more or less, but I am curious. Do you still have that same feeling about social media? Like, do you have the same perspective about it?
Kind of, sort of, but I mean, I honestly don't try to, you know, feed into it too much, because, like I said, it can have you, like I said, going somewhere else. But I just feel like, honestly, we living in a world today, and this is just being transparent, but we living in a world today where we like to measure ourselves amongst each other, you know, and we do it subconsciously, even if we don't know it. You know, so every time you're on your phone doing this, you may think you're just doing it just out of habit, or you're just doing it to be entertained. But the enemy like to keep us entertained, man. And, you know, when we on social media, man, we tend to follow other people's dreams, other people's goals, other things that people may be chasing throughout their journey. And next thing you know, you've lost. You know, you didn't got lost throughout your journey. And you tend to want things that may not even be for you, you know. So my biggest thing with just seeing social media is just like, you know, granted, obviously a lot of people want things overnight. You see something that look good, you think, okay, if I start that, I should be successful just like this person was, just because that's what I've seen. But through social media, we're only seeing highlight reels. We're not seeing like people's real journeys through anything. You know, we just seeing the, you know, the highlight reel of what people will post. You know, and sometimes that's false. You know, that's not even real what you're seeing. You know, so that's the only reason why I don't really, you know, like it too much, because, like I said, it's just a facade, really.
I definitely can understand that. I can understand that because in a lot of ways, anybody that's been seeing my social media, I'm sure not a lot of people on the live right now, but I kind of fell back from it. And it's not as deep as your reasoning behind it, but it is related. I did see a lot of my energy being invested into social media, and for the most part, it comes at a cost when you become a barber, right? And this new generation of barbers, unfortunately and fortunately, social media is a big part of barbering now. You know, it's a big part of marketing. It's a big part of advertising. It's a big part of casting your net. Part of your net being cast is through social media, because so many people engage through social media. Now, that's not to say that it's 100% of anything, because, you know, it's not. I still pass out business cards. I still shake hands. I still go to shows. I still go to local events. I still try to make the right connections with the right people in my community to continue to nourish those engagements. But social media is a big part of that in this generation of barbering. I would love to know your perspective. Granted that you have a very, very grounded, understood placement of self, like you understand you is what it sounds like. For you to understand you, but also be wise enough to see the condition that the industry that you love is in right now, be it that unfortunately we are the generation of social media junkies. Like, it is what it is, right? I would love to know, because I'm sure this is something that may come up in your classes, right?
Yep.
How are you guiding and teaching guys to use something that you don't necessarily subscribe to in order to find success for themselves?
That's a good question, man. And I would say always just find a balance to it. Like for me, like right now, some people done seen it, especially if I done been out and about and I done been networking or something like that. And I go to like trading them my phone or trying to follow them back on Instagram, whatever the case may be. Sometimes my notification will go off that, you know, my time is about to be up on social media. So I have a timer set for my social media that gives me about 45 minutes. And honestly, I just feel like anything past 30 to 45 minutes, you BSing. And that's just my, you know, honest opinion, because you feel like if you posting maybe once or twice a day, even if you engaging with people, you may be spending 15 to 20 minutes on each post. So you're looking at about 30 to 40 minutes. So anything outside of that, like I said, you just scrolling. You just flipping and flipping and flipping. So if you're trying to use it for a business aspect, like myself, like I said, I'd rather just be on there. And still from time to time, I still catch myself just scrolling. It happens, you know, by habit. But when I get that notification that goes off, it's a reminder for me to say, hey, come on, dog. What you done did in this past 45 minutes. Time to get up off it.
That's what's up.
I love that so much, because that's information that I'm sure other people know, but it is absolutely it's impressive to have that information and use it, because a lot of people got the information but they don't use it.
They don't use it.
So have that information and use it and hold yourself accountable. A lot of accountability goes behind that, man. I love that.
Oh yeah.
Pray for me.
But that's the thing. That's what I want to make clear too. You know, just because I do have it set on there, once again, it may be times where I might have to pass up that 45 minutes because I got to get back on there to answer somebody's question or whatever the case may be. So I always tell people, count the days, right? And count the days, I mean, chase the 1%, you know, and granted, when you start, you know, it might be 1% every day that you're trying to get better. And then eventually that 1% may become 10%. It may become 20%, and it just stack up. And then one day you will notice yourself just like, hey, when that thing go off, I shut it down. You know, I don't even go back on it. So, you know, you're going to have days where you're going to fall short, but you know, that's just like walking with Christ. We're going to fall short every single day. We're not going to get it right all the time, but as long as you're, you know, holding yourself accountable and you have things in place that's going to keep you level, then yeah, you on your way. You're on your way.
Again, that's a lot of accountability in there, and I love it. I want you. It sounds like you meet a few people in this world, right? And when you know that they got a direct line with God. My wife got a direct. I'm talking about a Jesus phone, right on her heart, right? When I'm going hard in my life, I ask her to pray for me. I need you to pray for me, Hawk. When I get on that phone, bro, I can tell myself I'm going to just be on here for 15, 20 minutes. I'm going to post a couple things. I'm going to write some stuff. I'm engaged, and I'm going to get off. How next time I look up, bro, about 6-7 hours that went past, right?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes,
I look up and it's dark outside. My baby kissing me goodnight, Hawk. I dropped the whole ball, bro.
You sitting up there like, man, where was I just
Right.
at?
What was I at, bro? I ain't accomplished nothing I said I was going to do.
Yeah.
It's a monster, man. It's a monster. With that being said, I would love to know what things, aside from social media, right? Because I think that's the biggest one, right? What other things have you noticed as trends in the barbering community or in the barbering business, in this new era, in the 2023 version of barbering? What trends have you noticed?
What trends have I noticed, just in the sense of like what area? I mean, I know you said with barbering, but just
barbering,
like just with,
things you're seeing in the barbershop, things that people are posting, different ways people post, and different ways that people are networking. Because networking, in my opinion, networking has changed so much.
Oh yeah.
When you go to barber shows, it used to be, and let me say this too, right? Let me preface this. I don't have as much experience as yourself or Ash. I'm still fairly green to barbering, right? But I'm 36 years old, and I feel like I've lived 46 years of life, so I'm not green to life.
Okay.
When I go around to the shows, man, I used to see guys when I first got in barbering. It was a genuine just attraction to being in a room full of people who shared a common interest, right? It was an attraction to that. Then you get to the, man, look, you see what they was wearing, you see what they was talking about, you seen the different ways people was putting this with that, or you seen them clippers he was using during that competition. I ain't never seen nobody use them like that, and da-da-da-da-da. It was barber talk. The last show I went to, those elements still existed, but they were so few and far in between, man. It was more so like going to like a car show or something, where people were more interested in meeting barbers like yourself with status and being seen with other barbers of status and forging 30-second relationships that they treat like they've been knowing their whole life. And it wasn't a lot of genuineness in it. You know what I mean? It was more so, let me get a picture with this dude. Let me almost corner this person to force them to follow me on social media, because hopefully it'll make my social media grow, or hopefully it'll make my visibility grow. That's one thing that I've seen that's changed in regards to the trends in barbering. People are more interested in immediate recognition than they are in forging and finding meaningful relationships.
That's good. That's good. That's real good. And I've definitely seen that too myself. For me, I would just say, man, I've seen the industry become more selfish than selfless.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where I feel like, obviously, if you take it back to social media, is one of those things where everybody wants to be praised for something. Everybody want to be highlighted for something. Everybody want to feel like a celebrity of whatever lifestyle they living in. Look at me, look what I got going on. And even to take it as far as just I know this is a hot topic that a lot of people talk about. I know I've talked about it before. I kind of got tired of talking about it. I'm probably one to blame about it. But haircut prices,
Right.
I think it's a big trend going on, just about obviously how much you should be charging, knowing your worth, obviously, moving up to this point where it's just like everything else is going up. So, you should be charging more. And, once again, even when you go to the shows, barbers feeling like they celebrities. And, you walk around and you could just see it. I mean, I even hear it from other barbers, it's like you can't even approach these guys, because they feel like, they up on this pedestal now, like, hey, I'm an educator now. You can't say nothing to me. I'm working for this clipper company now. You can't say nothing to me. You know, I'm charging this price, or I cut this person, you can't say nothing to me.
Right.
So I think it's becoming one of those things where it's a lot of selfishness going on, you know, and yeah, man, I think a lot of us, man, we have to be humble, you know, because pride and that self stuff, man, it's a killer, man. And honestly, man, skill, talent, obviously what you think you're worth can only take you so far. Usually your character is what check you out. So
Absolutely.
a lot of the times, like what I'm seeing now is even for them people that's, you know, cutting the so-called celebrities, charging the high prices, then, you know, gain some type of following because they get good engagement on their videos. You know, they can give you a good speech, you know, try to inspire you with somebody else's words. You know, once again, you're seeing that, yes, that stuff can take you to a certain degree for people who don't know you, for people that ain't never ran into you. But character, and I hope for anybody that's listening to this, I'm being dead serious right now. This ain't no shot at nobody. I'm just being very transparent because I done seen this with my own eye. And it's a lot of barbers in this industry that have seen it too. And this is the things that we talk about. Character is what's going to carry you. Humility is what's going to carry you. So when you lose that and you feel like you can't be touched, you feel like can't nobody tell you nothing, you feel like, you know, you done did it all, you know, you got a big following, you like this celeb now that, you know, on Instagram, you got thousands, 100,000, millions of followers. And now that gets to your head to make you think that you now a celebrity. Yeah, man, your character is what end up checking you up out of there, man. And I'm seeing a lot of people that, once again, hit those pinnacles, and it's just like now they backpedaling, you know, trying to figure it all out again. Yeah.
Right.
I think that goes a lot into like the same notion of how it changes, people say that money changes people. We live in a generation where clicks change people, right?
Yeah.
But it's not that the clicks are changing nobody or the money is changing nobody. It's what you just said. The content of who they was who they was, and they use all
it just get highlighted
to cover that up. Now that they're gaining traction, that who they was, you can't hide it no more, and it's coming to the front. Yeah,
you know, me and Shy had an interesting conversation at the CT Expo, and there were a lot of big name barbers. Who was there, and I remember Shy saying, "Hell, everybody flying commercial just like we are." You know.
Hey, it was crazy when we got to the show. You would walk around like, man, everybody camera crews and everybody dripped out in gold. They got the good paint lines and they look like $1 million, bro. And I'm here for it. I'm celebratory of it. But I just saw you on middle seat section B with me, bro. Like I seen you on the back of the plane. Like why we walk around with such a arrogance about ourselves, and we all do the same thing. We just do it in different places.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I want to address a question I just seen pop up in here, man. Mel the Barber, or Melt the Barber. No, it's Mel the Barber. These glasses don't work all the time, Mel. Blame my prescription. Don't blame me. I can read. Okay. Mel the Barber say he feel like the hair battles kill the barber industry. How you guys feel about that, man?
They said,
Mel, that's it. You're gonna have to explain it a little bit too, man.
They said they feel like hair battles kill
kill the barber industry. Kill in the barber industry.
I wouldn't say that. I feel like hair battles are always good for that boost in the energy of just, you know, friendly competition. You know, obviously getting yourself out there, you know, that's a way to get yourself out there. But also too, just once again, like even when I go to barber battles or hair shows, even if I ain't competing and I'm watching other barbers killing it, you know, stepping out there and, you know, giving they all up on that stage, like I said, I look at it like, yo, like, okay, there's some killers out here, you know, getting to it. And that makes me want to go back to the shop and step it up. you know. But granted, you know, barber battling, that's been going on for years, you know, before the beginning of time, you know, with barbering, you know. And like I said, I just feel like it's one of those things where it's just friendly competition. Now, granted, as far as it messing up the industry, nah, I wouldn't say it's messing up the industry. If anything, is, like I said, truly messing up the industry. Like I said, we just being transparent, is like I said, just the selfishness of just, you know, wanting to be broadcast as something bigger than yourself.
Right.
And at the end of the day, when we truly understand that what we do ain't even for us, your gift ain't for you.
Absolutely.
The things that you're receiving ain't for you. Your finances ain't for you. The things that you may be gifted with, your talent, your skill ain't for you. Your barbershop ain't for you. Whatever it is, like I said, we have to understand it goes beyond just for us.
Right.
And when you get out of that mindset of just thinking it's for you, then once again, we just continue to grow. But as far as it being about some, you know, barber battles or people cutting hair, nah, that's just friendly competition. I think honestly, that's what adds character into, you know, our industry and what we do. You get what I'm saying? Like, obviously, people want to see like who the nicest, who could do this, but it also, just like any other industry, man, it just gives you, you know, something to chase. But other than that, yeah, I wouldn't say it's messing up the industry.
Right.
You
But
feel about that?
so
That's just my opinion, you know.
I totally agree with him. I came up, I was a hooper. So competition is always a beautiful thing. It's really about the individual, you know what I mean, and how you approach it. You know what I mean? Any level of competition, I think, is healthy until you go overboard. So it's really the mind of each individual. But like Hawk said, I think, you know, it keeps your skills tight. It provides motivation. And I've never competed in a battle, but just watching the battle is enthusiastic to me. So I don't think it's the competition in and of itself. Everything is competition in this world. So
Go ahead.
who, me?
No, I thought Hawk was going to say something.
So
No,
do.
I was just going through.
I have a question. If y'all see any other questions I want to address as they come up,
I did want to thank Mel for the question. That was a dope question, man. It actually got a lot of people talking in the comments. I think a lot of people have a lot of feelings about that. You gotta, you know, people on both sides of that line. And I agree with both of you guys, but I also offer a different perspective on it. I think that the battling within the industry at any rate, right? Whether it's a hair battle or you know, design battle, freestyle, all that, race to who can get the fade the fastest, all those things. I think at their center, at their core, what they're doing that's the most positive is they're providing a sense of confidence in those people going on that stage battling that you can't get anywhere else. You can go into the most deep established shop in your city and cut hair well among other barbers who cut hair well, and it still can't compare to that feeling of putting yourself on the stage with 10 people you've never cut next to that think they're as good or better than you. And you get on the stage and you compete and you surprise yourself, because oftentimes I've competed, Hawks competed, I think you've competed at one point.
No, I never have.
You never have?
Nope.
Speaking for myself, and I think Hawk can attest to this. Oftentimes when you get on that stage and you cutting hair in a battle, you nervous in the beginning. But then when you finish and you place or you win, it'll blow your mind. It don't matter how dope you think you are. I don't really know too many people that go into battles, unless they going into battles that's, you know, below average battles expecting to win. Most people go to battles expecting to place. So if you win one, that's a when you walk out of there, bro, you feel like you floating. Like it's a whole other sense of confidence. Now, on the other side of that, I understand where the gentleman was coming from, because just like what we were talking about earlier, when we come to character and who you are as a person, everybody isn't at the maturity level to participate in battles. Unfortunately, there's no way to vet somebody before they get in the battle.
Absolutely.
Nor is there any standard that we're allowed to set on somebody else's involvement in the industry, right? if you want to go in battle, it don't matter if you childish or you a grown man. You got the bread, you can go battle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what happens is you have a lot of people who immature. So if they immature, but they can cut hair too. So they get in battle and they blaze a haircut, they win the battle. And unlike that person that got that boost of confidence and that jolt of camaraderie, what they end up getting is a shot of arrogance.
Right.
That inflates their ego even more. So now when they leave that battle, they really feel like you can't talk to them, right?
Yeah.
Them the ones that's flying coach with us, sitting in the middle seat, walking around with camera crews and they Versace shirt that they got from City Trends that tell you can't talk to them, right?
Right.
And hey, we need barbers like that in the end. Unfortunately, the beauty of it, right? The beauty of this industry, the beauty of the ecosystem, right? Any ecosystem, there cannot be all good, there cannot be all bad.
It's an equal balance.
It has to exist, right?
Yeah.
It has to exist. So I celebrate and salute them, and I celebrate and salute the guys who using it to do like Hawk did,
Right.
and build. They used it as a foundation to put their house on, so that when they start building that house is on foundated land.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Guys who didn't put that foundation on, celebrate them while they up, because you'll see them, like he said, soon enough, you'll see them backtracking, trying to figure out what happened and what can I do to get back to where I was at, man.
Absolutely. Hawk, I got a question for you that you hit on, and you said you may be responsible for the pricing subject matter just over the years. So you are what I would consider the 1%, right? You've been able to charge those premium prices, right? Your body
Since
of
the
work,
early days.
right?
Since the early days. Look,
right.
He said he was charging them prices. Look, he was charging them prices I was trying to get to when he was 16, bro.
Right.
He came in the game getting to a sack. So hey, shout out to
your work, your experience, all those things allow you to do that. What advice would you give people running around here just shooting up prices because it's been a topic of discussion on social media amongst barbers?
Great question.
I'm glad you asked that question, because my only answer that I have for anybody that's thinking about haircut prices, what they should be charging, how much should you be getting, paid for your haircut, for your services, is most of us, we don't, and I'm hoping y'all recording this. Like I said, this can be something that can be cycled around, but take these words seriously. Most of us do not have money problems. We have management problems. So no matter what you're charging for any service, if you don't know how to manage your money, you don't know how to manage your time, you don't know how to manage the resources that's been given to you, then whatever you charging don't mean nothing, because you can get that bag that you think you're looking for, and you get that bag and you get it and you don't know how to manage it, you're going to end up flopping that bag too. The same bag that you was flopping at 20, the same bag that you was flopping at 40, the same bag that you was flopping at 50, you get that $100, that $150, that $200, that $500, whatever it may be, you're going to flop that too, because you don't know how to manage. And I'm speaking from experience. I've been able to charge it all. I used to think if I charge a little bit more, or my demand is high, this is putting me in a good position where I can make more money. But a lot of us, we make more money and we accumulate more expenses. We accumulate more liabilities. And we getting all of this money that we think that we need that's going to fix our problems, but the problems ain't being fixed because we're not looking at the root of it. The root of it is we have bad management skills. When we all went to barber school, for anybody that went to barber school, most barber schools do not teach you on money management. So we get into an industry where we're making money every single day, no matter what you're charging. And when you're making this money, you do not know how to manage what's been given to you. So it makes you think, I need more money to fix my problem. If I get some more money, this will put me in a better position. If I get more money, this will get me where I'm trying to go to. But more than likely, 99.9% of the time, is you don't have a money problem. You have a management problem.
Well, You dropping them jewels, boy.
Listen, that's you see me raise my hand. First and foremost, let me say publicly, transparency. I think the name of this episode should be Transparency with Hawk, right?
Yeah.
I take it like that.
Yes, sir.
I absolutely, and I think 99% of barbers and estheticians and stylists within this industry have all been victim of not being managers of their better managers of their finances. I completely agree with you.
DJ
1,000%.
He came back in right on a bar.
On the bar.
On a heavy bar.
Yeah.
Hey, if I don't say nothing else tonight, just that right
That's
there,
the
hey,
one.
y'all can shut it down. Because I promise you,
Yes,
promise
sir.
you, once again, that's a hot topic of this industry right now. How much should I be charging? Trying to charge more? Need to get more for my services? You know, I'm doing all of this. You know, I want to get charged my worth, whatever the case may be. But you can do all of that. If
And
you don't got no management behind that, nah,
the crazy thing
it ain't
about
going
it is
nowhere.
everybody is in a race to charge more. But how many people actually sit down and look at, well, what is my cost of living? Have I increased my cost of living every time I've increased my rate? Or have I increased my rate and decreased my cost of living? In addition to that, I'm willing to bet you, if you go back to when everybody listening, myself included, if you go back to when you was charging $25, $30, right? Look at how many haircuts you was doing. And if you kept your records especially, right? Look at that record, how much money you was making annually. And then ask yourself, how much of that money did you retain because of your ill preparedness of spending that money? And you probably was making more money when you was charging less than what you're making now, charging more. I'm just saying, you know, I've been down that street so many times, my bro.
Yeah.
Real talk.
Yes, bro.
Interesting that we're talking about it because Hawk, I don't know. I know you were at CT when Authentic and the original Barber Doll they were holding their session, and it was, you know, a lot of talk about their worth, right? Where Jalen had made the you know, the post, the reel about all quality haircuts should be at least $100, and so that began to be the topic of conversation. But Andy asked a question, and he wanted a raise of hands of how many people had life insurance. So we're sitting in front. So I gauge from right to left. I look, I see a few hands. I don't look behind me. He says, well, by a raise of hands, I only see about 20% of you guys in here that have their hand raised. Now, we're probably looking at anywhere from 300 to, you know, 500 people in the room. And, you know, this hot topic of, you know, upping the ante, charging premium prices, but then people don't have the basic things that they need to make sure that their families are taken care of, which is the crazy thing in the world. Like, I don't get it. My hand was raised probably, but again, I'm an OG. I'm a little older. I done lost homeboys. You know, I see what it's like when families are struggling and don't have what they need to have. But I think, me personally, just how much, you know, knowing your worth, I think is gotten carried away, because you hit it right on the head. You can make all the money in the world, but if you don't do right by your money, what's the purpose in making all this money that you get in the first place?
Absolutely. And going into that, before I ask this question, I want to say this, right? I fully understand, like I said earlier, one of the biggest things that plague us as human beings is getting the information and not using the information. It does you no need to get all the information in the world about how to, where to, when to, why to, if you don't apply it. Like we always say on here, it's only medicine if you take it. But with that being the case, I do want to ask you, and I want to ask everybody that's watching right now, everybody that's in this live, in the live, I want you to put it in the comments. It's a two-part question. The first part is, if you can source one book that somebody can use or somebody can research that can help them with a better understanding of financial education, literacy, preparedness, etc., what would that book be? And the second question is, what advice do you have for barbers specifically on how they can better manage their finances? And that's for everybody, and everybody listening, put it in the chats, because it may be somebody on here that's viewing, that's not commenting, that may find one of them books and it may change the trajectory of their life. So don't gatekeep the information if you got it.
Can I answer that
Mhm.
question?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. My main source, and where I get all of my wisdom from is that Bible, man. You
Mm.
know, this is basic instructions before leaving Earth, and
Absolutely.
ain't nothing new up under the sun. You know, and honestly, we can read all the books we want to, but ain't no book greater than that word. You know, and a lot of us have been misled, you know, to, like I said, reading these books that is money driven.
Mm-hmm.
And when things are money driven, they can also become your God, and that can
Absolutely.
also become what you now serve. You know, so we have to be very, very careful on the things that we put in the forefront of our lives. You know, you constantly hear people say, I'm chasing a bag, I'm trying to get to this bag, I'm trying to get to the money. For one, a bag should never be running away from you. If you manage it right, the money should always be coming to you. But I mean, this is just being real.
That's another bar.
For one,
That's
like
another one, bro.
that's another bar. But number two is one of those things that we have to understand, that the money that we make, the resources that we have, the gift that God gives us, it doesn't belong to us. So when we're making this money that we're setting out to make, if you think it all belongs to you for your own personal gain, you got the game messed up. And you'll forever be chasing something that'll constantly be running away from you. And even if you catch it, you'll never be satisfied.
Yeah.
Why? Because that's what the enemy wants you to do. The enemy wants you to chase money. The enemy wants you to chase the tangible things of this world. We're not supposed to live of this world. We're supposed to be building for the kingdom. Now I can go a long way into that, but it ain't no book better. If anybody listening, ain't no book better than that Bible, better than that word. And like I said, I'm not being biased. I'm not trying to force that on nobody. I never do. I'm not selling God to anybody.
You,
I'm just telling you what works for me and what I've seen work for others who truly follow the word of God. When you following the word of God and he lays it out, there's nothing new up under the sun. We
you,
think that all of our money belongs to us. And when you start following biblical principles
right.
of how they say you're supposed to manage the resources, the money that God gives to you, which is his from the first place,
Right.
then you'll know how to handle it.
You,
But if you ain't doing it that way, you'll constantly be chasing something that, will go
you,
in and out all
you
the
got
time.
a wife in here commenting, bro. She ain't never commented on one live we done. Preach. I'm going out on a limb,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm almost wondering if you're gonna be in somebody's pool pit before it's all said and done, my brother.
Right.
You know what? I've been hearing that a lot, and if honestly, if that's what God is placing on me to do, then I follow what He places on my spirit. My relationship that I have with Christ, I don't play with that. I don't doubt that. I don't, question it. If He places it on my spirit to continue to lead His people and do it in a way where He's giving it to me on the platform that He's already given to me, then that's the route that I go. If He tell me to drop my clippers today, then I can drop my clippers today. But yeah, I think he's going to allow me to do it in the way that I'm doing now, and it's just going to continue to grow.
He's got his hand on you.
Man.
For me, he's definitely got his hand on you, and he's speaking through you to a lot of us, man, and we greatly appreciate it. We ain't gonna keep you on here a whole lot longer. Go ahead, Shy. You got something to say?
I do, man, and it's been on my mind since he started talking, bro. You know what you are, bro? When you first came on, before, I've only seen you once in person, and I want to say it was Bronner Brothers when I first started barbering, bro. And you stood up like a thumb in the crowd, because this was I think the show was in Atlanta, and you had on Atlanta Hawks jersey, the Hawks. The stage was off to this side, and you was standing next to the Babyliss little table, cutting hair. You had a backpack on. I'm like, yo, I don't know who dude is, but he getting to it. I whoever he is, I like him, bro, because he getting to it. It's just being like, wherever we at, I'm gonna cut hair. It don't matter. right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, I didn't know you. I didn't know who Hawk was. I had never heard of that. Again, I was very new to barbering. I'm still very new to barbering. Then I later on found out through social media, like, oh, that was Hawk that I was looking at. That was somebody I found out because I bought the Hawk influencer Babyliss, the red clipper,
Okay.
the
Yeah.
Iron Man joint. So
Yes,
I'm
sir.
like, damn, that's dude on the box that I seen at the show. Okay, bet, say less. So fast forward, follow you on social media, follow you, you know, kind of saw the rise a little bit. Well, you were already up, but I seen, you know, going up further, right? When we joined this live, I'm like, man, we got Hawk on, bro. It's gonna be a dope conversation. It's gonna be dope talking to somebody. This will be the first time I get to hear you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And put a personality with this person that's this, you know, just a vision right now. I don't know you personally. I thought it was gonna be somebody dope, relatable at some point, right? But I'm an empath, so I can make anybody relatable.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm listening to, bro, is way more than that. You are an example of strength and faith, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like it pours out of you. Like it's not. A lot of people could say a lot of stuff to make it sound good. You saying a lot of stuff that you believe, and I can tell you believe it because it's flow naturally. It ain't rehearsed.
Mm-hmm.
It's not prettied up. It's nah, I feel like da 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 da. You know, take it or leave it. And it's like, damn. DJ even said that about you, bro.
Right.
DJ,
Right.
he said, bro. DJ
Yeah, me and
said
DJ, we
it.
didn't have some great talk,
He
man.
said
Like
it,
you
bro.
said, DJ, yeah,
He pre-warned us. He said, be ready.
yeah,
Because that's a real one. He cut
Hey.
different.
mm-hmm.
Be ready.
Yeah,
And I think he might have outdone your title for this episode. DJ said bars with Hawk.
Yeah, facts. Big facts, man. And it's important, bro. I say all that to say is people like you, and speaking specifically to the barbering industry,
mm-hmm.
people like yourself who've gone through those road to Damascus experiences and became closer in faith in their understanding of self through faith.
Mm-hmm.
It's detrimental to the people coming into this industry because we've watched barbering blow up since the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
We've watched it, explode at an exponential rate. And not everybody coming into the industry now, just like not everybody who came into the industry then, have an understanding of self, and they're coming into an industry that moves so fast that most people won't get an opportunity to even find that, right?
Yeah, right.
Hopefully enough people, more people, get to be part of or witness conversations like these, or be a part of conversations like these with people like yourself, and it changes their perspective. What did DJ say? He said it in the episode last time we had him on. Rising tides lift all boats or something like that. DJ, if you on here, drop that jewel, man, because that's been stuck with me so hard that I come into the shop now and I look around and I say, man, what can we do to rise this tide? Because one of us can't float above the others. It can't exist.
Right. That's right.
I
like that.
We appreciate you, man. I appreciate you because you done made me think about my Bible.
Man.
I ain't thought about my Bible and I don't know how.
Real.
Yeah, man.
So before we get off here, I gotta ask you a couple more questions, man, because again, following you, and you're so much more than a barber.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta ask you about the fishing. We know you cold with the clippers, you sick with it.
Yeah.
But let's talk about this fishing game, boy, because I see you. I see you on that boat. I see you pulling them out that water. How did your passion, how did you get into fishing? And how did your passion for fishing measure up to your passion for barbering?
Well, honestly, man, I think my passion for fishing was there before barbering. You know, I was brought up on fishing. You know, my parents, my grandparents, you know, brought me up around fishing. They brought all of our, you know, my cousins, brothers, you know, we all grew up around it. But I think I was kind of like the only one that really gravitated to it, to like, you know, watching them in the kitchen, you know, filleting the fish up, cooking it, you know, having fish fries, all that. And for me, as I grew into it later on in life, you know, and still found a love and a passion for it, it became more than just fishing. For me, it became a quiet place. It became a place where I could kind of zone out from everything else and truly just be in the presence of God, man.
Mm.
You know, being out there on that water, you know, once again, it's one of those things. I got so much respect for water because that's one thing man can't mess with, you
Woo.
know. And yeah, it's a lot of things that we can do here on this earth, but water is one of them things you cannot mess with. And yeah, man, I honestly found a true peace with just being out there. And this is, like I said, it's just a passion. Just like cutting hair has been a passion for me. And one of the things about me, man, I don't do what everybody else do. I don't, you know, follow the crowd. I don't try to fit in with everybody else. I do what make me happy, and I push that, man. I tell people all the time, do what makes you happy, do the things that you love to do, especially if it makes sense and it's not putting you in no harm or, you know, putting you in a bad place. But, you know, fishing was that safe haven for me, you know, and it also showed me too, because I did a little research, like really trying to, you know, get that answer, like, man, why do you really love this so much? And it's also a sense of accomplishment. You know, when you setting out to do something, to say, I'm going fishing today, you know, you're telling yourself you're going to do something today. And when you go out there, you get ready that morning, you got your rods, you got your tackle, obviously you planning, you mapping this thing out, and you go touch that water, and now you on the hunt to catch something, and you catch something. It's a sense, it's something that goes off in our brain that triggers a sense of accomplishment. And that can be addictive for anybody. When you're accomplishing things in life, you want to constantly, you know, accomplish more and more and more. So, you know, for me, that's where it came from. Yeah.
And you don't just fish for fun. You eat them, right?
Yeah, I fish for fun, and then I also eat them. You know, I teach my girls, my baby girls, on how to fillet them up, how to cook them, you know, how to fish. You know, I always say the saying, how the saying go, you know, you teach a man to fish, he'll eat for the rest of his life. You know, so I don't want to just give a fish. I want to teach you how to fish. Same thing as far as my brand, Equip. You know, I don't want to just, you know, give you the game and say, here you go. I want to constantly show you. I want to do life with you. I don't want to, you know, just give you something and be like, oh, yeah, this is how you blow up. Anybody that, you know, keep up with me, follow me, inspired by anything that I do, I want to do life with you. I want to show you, like, hey, we're going to ride this thing out together. I got plenty of people that talk to me on the regular. I'm never afraid to, you know, respond to anybody, you know, take time with anybody, pray for somebody. It don't matter, you know, like I said, really just being just a true servant, man, just a true servant and a child of God. We're supposed to be Christ-like, you know, and it goes back to what we were saying earlier, man. We got to learn how to die to self, you know, die to self.
And also, let's reverse pivot. Talk about Equip and what you got going on with Equip. At the CT Expo, I seen you had some barbers doing that thing. Look like, you know, you putting together a team. Let's talk about that, because we also want, you know, not to only talk, but give this platform for you to shine, to talk about what you got going on with your brand.
So with the equip, I'm still working on it. I'm still listening to what God wants me to do with it. So I have a few mentees that's up under me, and it's more so to give them a platform to do things in the right way, you know, and not necessarily feel like they got to be attached to a clipper company, a product brand, or feeling like, you know, they just got to jump out there on their own and not necessarily know the steps to going about it. So, you know, I started the Equip brand to more so be a network in the sense of we all on the same page. You know, we all understand, and obviously, you know, what it takes to be a true master barber, not just, you know, somebody who got a good skills or, you know, once again, you know, a good following, but somebody that's truly a good master barber. So, you know, that's where the Equip brand came from. Equip, you know, was given to me by God, because if you read his word, you'll see how God equips us all the time. So, you know, by me doing the same thing with barbers, with me doing the same thing with my clients, you know, we all do it. We equipping each other. So
Okay. Cool.
man. I love it. And right now, are you still in the shop or are you in the suite?
No, so I'm in a suite now. My shop that I had before was like a work live type of situation. I wasn't living there. I was just working there. I had my shop there. Here in Atlanta, they've been going through this transition of taking out all work live situations and just making it strictly residential. So a lot of barbers have ran into the same problem I did. And honestly, I mean, I don't really look at it as a problem. You know, I did a podcast few months back, and I was explaining it to my boy, you know, because he was just like, man, I don't see how you respond to the things that you respond to and not be tripping. But, you know, once again, my relationship with Christ, the first week that I set up that shop that I had at the loft, you know, God placed it on my spirit that I wasn't going to be there long, you know, and I'm like, you know, I talk with God, man. So I'm like, God, come on, man. Like, I just got in here, man. Like, give me a break. You know, and he's just like, listen, I ain't telling you don't enjoy it. I'm just letting you know this ain't your landing pad. This your launching pad. You know, so I have to look at that and understand that and not even allow myself to get too connected to it. So once they did say what they said, it wasn't me getting upset. I was just like, okay, yeah, my pops, he told me this already. You know, he already shared this news with me. So I was already, you know, in agreement with what was going on. And I was able to go on into that next season. So, you know, that's why I said, man, ain't no book like the Word, man, because it breaks down so much for us beyond, you know, the things that we think we have to think on or get ourselves prepared for. He'll get you prepared for a little bit of everything, things that you don't even know you're about to walk into. And what better feel is that to be equipped and be ready for things that you don't even know that's coming your way, you know? So
absolutely, you got to be prepared for it because a lot of times the blessings are right in your face, but if you're not prepared to receive them, you won't even recognize them.
Yeah, real. That's right.
I do want to ask you a question, man. Let everybody know here, first and foremost, thank everybody for coming and joining our Cut My Way Out podcast. We are live every Wednesday night, 7:30 Central Standard Time on Instagram. We are transitioning. Once we make that transition and we start to present in a different way, we will let you know ahead of time. Make sure you are following Hawk. If you're not following Hawk, you already know the motto. You already know the motto. You don't get to say what you didn't know because you wasn't in the loop and you chose not to be. At this point, it's a choice. It's nothing more than a choice. If you don't follow Hawk, all you got to do is click up there. Click it, and it drop down. Click his name, follow. Turn on the post notifications too, because every time he posts, he just told you that he don't really mess around with social media. So if you do post something, it's relative information that you probably want to know. Right. While you're here, while you're doing that, Hawk, can you please tell people where they can get their hands on Equip? How can we get our hands on Equip?
So right now, honestly, man, I have all my sites that I have for like product wise, I have all of those down right now because I'm working on a new system right now. So just, I mean, throughout anything that questions they may have, obviously just hitting me up through the DM. Anything that they want to purchase from me, obviously hitting me up through DM. So like I said, I do check my DM. Sometimes I might miss some. If I miss it, just still keep following up or maybe shoot a comment under a picture or something like that. And I usually do see it. So yeah, that's one good way to reach out to me. I think I might even have my contact on there as well. So
and I'm gonna try my best to. I probably can't book an appointment because I done waited too long. I'm sure your books fill out fast. I'm going to be in Atlanta this upcoming weekend taking a class with Israel.
Okay.
Israel, right? I don't know how.
Good brother right there. So that's another good brother right there.
Definitely.
One of my good brothers.
I don't know how close y'all are because Atlanta is a foreign city to me and y'all traffic, I've heard, is the worst in the world.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But I'm telling you, me and my wife have made a trip out of it. We're going to go up there. I'm going to take that class. We've invested in ourselves and we've invested in our vision for this barbering.
Okay.
But we're going to turn it into a trip. It's going to be a little vacation. You hear me?
Okay.
I'm going to spend time with the men. But I already let her know. I said, listen, and she on here. So if I didn't let you know, I'm letting you know now. Tell you, you need to look at the camera. I'm going to make my way to see Hawk. If I got it, I'm going to figure out a way to come see you.
Don't make it happen.
here and say what's up, man. Just for real.
When y'all coming?
We're coming this upcoming Saturday. We'll be there Saturday evening. The class is Sunday. Of course, it's like
This
a 4-hour
weekend.
This weekend, yeah.
I'll be here, brother.
You'll be here?
No.
Oh.
I'm gonna be in San Antonio, man. I think this is one of my last trips of the year too, man. Man,
because you were hopping and skip. I'm in Tennessee. That should go October. Look, that's, come through one time with the wife. It's October. I was wrong, Hawk. See?
Okay. See, she fixed it for you because I'll be here October.
That's my life manager right there, man. That's my life manager. So yeah, October 8th. I'm sorry, not this weekend. That's the following weekend, I believe. Yeah. So yeah, we'll be there, man, and I'm gonna make my way to come and meet you, man, just to say what's up in person. Because like I said, man, I had a perception, I had an expectation. I've listened to you in this last hour and a half, 2 hours on this live, and you've completely blew the doors off that expectation. I have a whole nother depiction of who you are. When people ask me about Hawk, my answer will not be the same. It'll be something totally different. So
that's a blessing, man. I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah.
For me, man, I've been chasing this since we started the podcast, man. I expected it to be all that it's been, man. I follow you for several different reasons. We all know, the skills that God has given you with the Clippers, but so many other things and just the ability to relate. So again, we greatly appreciate it. We greatly appreciate you taking time to come on to our platform, be transparent, share those bars with us.
Oh man, we got my boy Chris Tucker, man, that fell through the building, man.
Look at that.
That's my boy.
Funniest man ever on the planet, bro.
Man.
That's my brother right there.
Everybody in this live that said at least 5 lines. At least 5. Anybody that said they haven't said 5, you're lying to yourself because you didn't say
Man, that's you well respected all over the board, man. So we appreciate it. Before we get off of here, we ask everybody the same question. Now that you've been on our platform and you see what our platform is about, and it's a 2-part question. So just listen before you answer. Been on our platform, you see what it's about, right? Who would you want to see on this platform? And before you answer that, you have to be willing to help us get that person or them on the platform with us. Thank you, Chris.
Man, that's a good question. That's a real good question. That's a good question. Honestly, man, I think this might throw a lot of people off, but honestly, this is just my honest opinion. Honestly, I don't even know the brother that well. We've, met in passing, and like I said, we just literally started to build and connect, and I see where he's at spiritually. But it's a brother named Tyler. I just like I said, bumped into him. He works for Tune 45, and man, like spiritually, man, he's there. And honestly, man, the reason why I say that, and I know he wouldn't have no problem coming on here, is because same thing y'all said, man, like it takes, for one, it takes a village, right? And for us to start getting all on the same page, we have to continue to build, on the same page. And when we're bringing, like I said, on the platforms like this, we have to be very intentional, on who we're bringing on. And granted, understanding the reason why we're bringing those people on. But for me, I would definitely love to see a Tyler, a S Craft.
And we had S.
Okay. So y'all already Marcus Harvey. Yep, I know y'all have Marcus on.
Yeah, we've had him on twice. Matter of fact, we want to say thank you to the Marcus Harvey.
Marcus brought me on. That's
yeah,
right.
He threw the hoop, man. So we are greatly appreciative. Yeah.
And another barber I'll throw out there for y'all too. I don't know if y'all know Randy Cuts. That's another one of my brothers that I think it would be a good piece to have on as well.
Okay.
We're gonna have to look him up. I think I know who you're talking about. I'm almost 100% sure I know who you're talking about with Tyler, because I met him. I met him at CT. If I'm not mistaken, if we talk about the same person, I met him at CT.
Yeah.
Okay, bet. Well, we will do our absolute best to reach out to them respectfully. We never. I want you to know when we ask these questions, because we got a lot of people on here, right? If we ever ask you that question, please understand that we're not overreaching. We're not just pressing on nobody, right? We reach out respectfully. We reach out at a moderate rate to always make sure that we put respect first, because it's coming off the recommendation of somebody that we highly respect. So we make sure that we keep that respect going forward, right? Hey, you got recommended by da-da-da-da-da. It would be awesome. If you're not familiar with the platform, please allow me to send you, some of our clips so you can see what it is that, if you're interested, awesome. If not, just want you to know that you are on our radar. It was awesome what you're doing. Continue to do it, da-da-da-da-da, right?
Right.
So anybody on here, if you ever have any recommendations, or you yourself is somebody who would like to get on the platform and share your story, you're ready to tell your story, you're ready to let the world know how your barbering, stylist, esthetician, or your adjacent experience to your barber, stylist, esthetician has been, the I Cut My Way Out platform is exactly the platform for you. Like Hawk said, we are very intentional on who we bring on this platform, because everybody has a story, but the uniqueness of their story can be the complexity in yours. So if you have one, jump in the DMs. Again, click up top, I Cut My Way Out podcast, hit the follow, turn on the post notification, and jump in the DMs. We always interested in learning as much as we can about the people who push our industry so far forward, right? The more we know about you, the more we can hold you up to that light. The more we can hold you up so that we can open them doors. The more doors open, the more this industry can absolutely be something that we never imagined it to be. So I'm grateful for you, Hawk, man. Thank you so much. My wife is on here, so I'm sure she heard me say I'm going to crack my Bible. I appreciate you for that.
Yes, sir. Honestly, man, I'm glad you said that too, because I just wanted to leave my last remarks for y'all. For one, I just appreciate the opportunity for y'all having me on. Like I said, it's been a true pleasure. I pray that God continues to bring me on just different platforms, just to continue to spread his word, continue to just be a light in dark places, man. And I just want to leave a scripture with everybody that's on here as well. Y'all can pin it, y'all can throw it up on there, whatever, in the comments. But it's Matthew 6:33. That's one of my favorite scriptures I love to live by. And that's seeking God first and his righteousness, and all things will be added unto you when you do so. So, once again, man, if I don't say nothing else, if don't nobody else get nothing else from what I said tonight, seek God first, man. Like, I feel like not just in our industry, but in a lot of industries in this world that we live in today, we're missing God, man. And, I don't try to force this on nobody. I'm not selling God to nobody. I'm just going off of my personal relationship. I don't talk religion. I'm not talking, you should be doing it like this, you should be doing it like that. But I'm talking about personal relationship over religion, and truly getting a true relationship with God and allowing God to work in your life, not moving off of your own understanding, but solely on God's understanding. And I promise you, when we start to really develop that and really trust in that, this world that we living in, we can start really seeing some changes. But until then, like I said, we just gotta start living up this world. That's all I got.
Absolutely.
I love it, man.
Thank you again, man. Flowers, man. We appreciate your family for allowing you to spend this last hour and a half with us. So we thank them. Man, we're gonna keep following you. You're inspiring, man. And we're greatly appreciative, man. You have a blessed night, bro.
Man,
Thank you.
I too, man.
October.
Yes, sir.
8th. I'll be there.
Yes, sir.
Blessings.
All right, everybody. Have a good night, and thank you.